Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get into it today because we are joined by the one and only just David. Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? I would like to break down the current episode of Salt Lake. We'll do like a mini Salt Lake recap. But before we get there, could we just talk about a few things? But we will do a little Salt Lake recap because that's fun, right? Let me just adjust the picture frame here for those watching. We put a little clip on YouTube, but the only place to find the full episode is here on Patreon. Um, this is what I want to talk about. A couple of things. Okay, you know what I was thinking? Did anyone wake up and think about Bravo in the middle of the night? Well, I do. And here's where my mind went the other day. It's twofold. What does Marge think? Margaret, my friend Margaret Josephs, Marge, the Saj. What does she think about this? This reconciliation, which apparently Teresa and Melissa are going to have. How does she feel about this? Um, Look, the thing about Margaret is she is not Teresa. She's not going to get her hands dirty. Margaret doesn't get her hands dirty. She is good at the game like that. Look, I'm very hard on Teresa on this podcast with good reason because she does manipulate the story with the blogs and the scumbag podcasts and all that. She really does care what everybody thinks. Louis hasn't helped the situation for her. But let's not give Margaret a free pass. Two things can be true. Margaret with the finstas and they're all under the bed and Lexi is, throwing all that shit under the bed trying to find the finstas. Margaret ain't innocent either. Let's just be honest. So there's no sense in anyone asking in any interviews. I'm sure any interview Margaret does soon coming up, she'll be asked, how do you feel about this reconciliation? And make note that Margaret's answer will be, oh my God, I'm all for the reconciliation. I would never come between a family. Oh my God, I would never come between a family. Are you kidding me? I think it's great. I think it's great. Look, I don't wish Teresa any harm. I was just trying to protect her in the beginning. I think everyone should get a prenuptial. Isn't that what Andy Cohen said on Watch What Happens Live? I was just trying to help her. I have nothing against Teresa. I've never had anything against Teresa. I've always supported her. I would never get in the middle of a family. I absolutely wish her the well. I think it's great. I think Joe should go and have dinner with her, break bread. I hope her and Melissa go on a vacation together. I think it's great. So any interview that's going to ask Margaret, I mean, don't even waste the damn question. Future interviewers, that's Margaret's answer. She thinks it's great. She thinks it's wonderful that Teresa and Melissa are reconciling. Well, Teresa and Joe, and then eventually Melissa, and she'll never stand in the way of it, and blah, 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 blah. She'll think it's great. Let's just be honest. So, I would never stand in the way of a family. Oh, family is everything to me. So that's going to be Margaret's answer. She doesn't get her hands dirty. Let's be honest. But how does Margaret really feel about this? Like, if the rumors and nastiness is true that apparently we're trying to move the damn show, which nobody cares about anymore, basically. Well, people will care if it comes back good. I don't think anyone cares about Teresa and Melissa together, but nobody wants to see that. But deep down, Margaret is not at all happy about this. Let's just be honest. Let's have an honest conversation here on a Saturday on Patreon. That's how Margaret really feels about the matter, right? She's not happy at all. I mean, isn't Melissa supposed to be one of her really good friends along with Dolo, Catania? So Dolores, believe it or not, I think is probably truly happy. It makes Dolores' job much easier. We all know she's Switzerland. We all know she's not going to pick a side if her life depends on it. She has no problem criticizing Gertie and warning Gertie about what to do next season and telling Gertie she pissed Andy off at the reunion. She has no problems criticizing Katie Janela and the OC cast, but when it's person standing right in front of her, it makes Dolores' life easier if she could just have these two get along, because then she could be even more of Switzerland. So let's be honest. Selfishly, Dolores is thrilled about this, and selfishly, Margaret is disgusted about this. She must be going crazy. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. But in an interview, I would never stand in the way of the family. Ever notice how Margaret is almost borderline Ramona sometimes with the way she speaks? Now, we already reported earlier in the week that, rumors and nastiness are that Bravo has no interest in a Teresa makeup with Melissa. They have no interest in this reconciliation. And that ship has sailed, which I hope that rumor is true because you guys don't want to watch it. I have to watch it. It's my job. I told you guys, anybody listening to this, if you don't want to watch New Jersey Housewives when it eventually comes back a year from now, at best, do not worry. You don't have to watch it. I will, in 15 minutes, recap the entire thing, like we're about to do with Salt Lake. I will recap the entire thing for you. So anyone that doesn't want to watch this does not have to watch this. I will handle it for all of you. Okay? So Bravo says they're not interested. That's the rumor. I hope it's true. But the thing is, I think we're all missing a key component up to this point, that if Teresa and Melissa reconciled, and if Bravo is interested, because this shit seems to change by the fucking day, and for some reason we have a New Jersey that comes back with newbies, and Margaret, Melissa, Dolores, and Teresa, Margaret, Melissa, and Dolores, the three plus Teresa, and somehow we have to watch this. The reason to me it's not going to work is because A, nobody believes that Teresa and Melissa really made up for altruistic reasons. She's desperate to save her job. I get it. They're desperate to save their jobs, and if this is how to do it, so no one's going to believe it. But the bigger problem I have is, well, also no one wants to see it, even if they're getting along. And besides not believing it, we don't care anymore about the drama between this family or the makeup. But if they make up and that saves their jobs, Teresa and Melissa will not fight on the screen. We've already done that in season 8 or whatever the fuck it was after her jail. They won't fight. Make no mistakes. This will be a season of Teresa and Melissa getting along. The problem that I'm not sure if everyone's realizing is that Teresa hates Margaret. Teresa will make up with her brother, probably eventually, even if not for the show. I mean, they are family. Things are going to happen in the family. There are going to be deaths. They're going to be sick. There will be things. I'm not saying today. I'm not saying in 4 years. In the next 50 years, between now and the time that Teresa and Joe drop dead, things will happen. And so chances are that the two of them will speak again, even if it's not fake for the show, like it would be at this point. But Teresa hates the fuck out of Margaret Josephs. Hates. So she will soften on Melissa because of Joe. It will happen 10 years from now, 40 years from now, 3 years from now, whatever it is, it will eventually, there'll be some communication. But Teresa fucking hates Margaret. So if they fake makeup, and if Bravo is somehow becomes interested or is interested in this report that I talked about earlier in the week about how they're not interested is not true, we're still going to have a season where Teresa and Margaret hate each other. And even if Margaret is willing to work with Teresa, even though she says she'll never work with Louis, which I don't even think we're going to have Louis, Teresa still fucking hates Margaret. So even if Melissa and Teresa got along, nobody wants to see Teresa versus Margaret. We saw that last season. We saw that the season before. We saw that the season before. So nobody wants to see that either. And that's a key component that everybody is so focused on Teresa being desperate to save her job, and this, and Joe Gorga's now preparing to meet her, and do producers want to capture this, and Melissa reconciling with Teresa, Melissa slash Joe. Nobody realizes the Margaret versus Teresa thing is just as old. It is just as stale. Unless Teresa reconciling with Melissa, somehow they're interested and that saves the show. And at the last minute, they decide to get rid of Margaret. And the show moves ahead with Teresa, Melissa, and Dolores. That to me makes more sense. I now that we're in this alternative twilight zone of Melissa and Joe, and she's gonna go meet Joe and he's open to it and blah blah blah, and he wants her to apologize. Even if all that is gonna happen, I don't see how the show can move forward with Teresa and Margaret. I think that's the thing people don't realize. Because Teresa and Melissa faking it, eating sprinkle cookies together, and her being like, these are great, Melissa. I'm glad you made a business out of it. And maybe I'll do panoli cookies and whatever type of fake shit they're going to show that no one wants to watch. Even if people watch that, no one wants to see Teresa and Margaret fight anymore. That is old news, stale, and boring as well. So Margaret will say she's all about this in interviews. She's really fucking not, and she really hates it. And I don't even know if the show can move forward with the four of them. I think if Teresa's back, you almost have to get rid of Margaret. I think it changes moving it ahead with Melissa, Margaret, and Dolores. Because how are Teresa and Margaret? It's not her family. She ain't incentivized for that. She didn't sign up for that. She's this big reconciliation when now she's going to reconcile with Margaret too. But no one's going to believe that. So that's just going back to the well of filth in the underbelly of the damn show. So I think